Hello, hello, hello. Can anybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Good morning, everybody. Please hit like and subscribe. Leave comments in the comment section. You've reached another episode of The Servant Live. We should have a category called Tough Talks. And if you guys wanted to talk about something tough, I could drop a link and we could chat about what's going on and how to solve that in a Christian biblical way by getting advice from the chat and from each other. I think that would be cool, right? I know everyone named AJ is cool, man. Like all the AJs are here, and solid people, man. Like I never thought, right, in my life that I would ever meet another person that would like, the kind of person that would die for you. I never thought I would. I figured my mom would do that for me, right? And or my dad, and maybe they would. I don't know, right? But if my life has been disappointing in that way, right? Where you think that certain people should be there for you, no matter what, and they're not, you know. But the issue is, right, is that there are people there for you. You just ignore where it's really coming from because you expect it to come from one place, right? And like, I don't know if you've ever been in that scenario, right? Where you're like, wow, my parents and my brother, right? They should care that I'm in trouble. And it feels like they don't. But I have friends that will give me the shirt off their back, but I don't want to take anything from them, right? And so we ignore where the help is coming from. And we ignore really probably what our real family is, right? Because everything's on a spiritual level. And even Jesus says in the end, right, that even our families would be divided, meaning that we're going to probably be closer to other people than our own family. Now, if you're lucky like I am, right, and or blessed, you can say, and I have, my mom and my brother are saved Christians, right? And I have a stepbrother that's a saved Christian. But, there's still that worry with my kids, right? And, hey, Lake Fairy, I'm glad you came over. Probably not Probably not the greatest show today on hand, but it won't be bad, I don't think. I'm like tempted to drop a link and let somebody come up and chat. And I put out a um, memo for that. I don't know because I thought I was gonna have somebody on today, and I can't remember now who that was supposed to be. And I really need to take notes better because it's like as soon as I'm done with the show, it's like constant messages until the next show, and then constant messages into, hey Hannah, how you doing? And so I'd like to know who I was supposed to have on today, but it would be cool to have anybody on. I even gave Tom the link, so if Tom wanted to click on, he could. That would be cool. I know Tom's going through a lot of stuff, and I don't want to get into his personal life, but he's going through a lot of stuff, man, being attacked by Satan, man. Like everything that Jesus said would happen in the end is happening to this man, and he's keeping his faith pretty strong. Because like no matter what happens to us, let's say from this point, right, going forward, if anything happens, right, you cried on the live you did yesterday. Oh yeah, yeah, and you know what, it probably felt good. But like no matter what happens to us on the way out, right, on the till the last days, right, I mean till the end, which is I think very very close. And I know that a lot of people say that, and I know I'm a broken record with that, but it's just God directing my path, right? So if I have a family member that is removed from my life, or a friend that just leaves me or something, then that's meant to be. And I need to let Christ guide my steps until the end, because there's a plan for me right now. Like I'm blessed in the sense that I feel like I'm living my purpose, right? And that makes me feel good, right? Anytime I'm doing this, I feel good. And I keep wanting to do it my way, right? Like rally the troops and motivate people, right? Because I could speak that way. I mean, I could say something motivational every day, right? Probably. I mean, I don't know about 2 times a day. That'd be, you'd have to be pretty creative, right? But like at least in the morning, I could probably do that, or at least end that way, right? But I get the sense that my calling is very small. It's not like a big job. It's just to be there for people that want God in their life, to talk about God. And then, they could seek a teacher or seek something better after this, right? Like, because we're connected. And I just think that it's just a wonderful spot. And like when I keep it narrow, right, and I keep it only on the truth, right, I like this whole like small, powerful group. And yeah, we open it up a little bit sometimes and let it get a little out of control, and that's cool and then more people join in and it's more fun, right? Especially if there's a fun conversation going on, right? Like, a good back and forth, or we're learning, or we're finding out why people have different perspectives or how they got there. Like, how did you get to thinking the way you're thinking when I'm so sure, right? And these things are good, right, to discover. Now, what gets me is these curveballs, right? They come from nowhere, right? Like all of a sudden you got somebody that's not only doesn't believe in God, but if God was real, would be a Satanist, and they've been a Christian for 8 years. To me, that's frightening, man. That's a frightening 180. Not to me, right? Because how does that affect me, right? But it makes me almost want to like, talk to the group, right, and get like a pilgrimage out to this dude, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, get enough for a plane ticket and do a small pilgrimage. You know what I mean? And when I told him, okay, I didn't tell him all that, but I said, hey, you're making me feel like I want to go out there and get you, right? Uh, he said, stay out of his personal life, man. And so I don't know. I don't know what to do, right? I can't make anybody believe anything, and I can't keep anyone believing anything. But it just seems like, man, I've never really seen anything like that before. Someone's like all in for Jesus, teaching the Bible, right? And then all of a sudden is against God, right? I don't get that, man. Because like, how could you say that God has done anything unfair when God defines right and wrong? It's when we want to define our own right and wrong, our own good and evil, right? And then put that on God, right? That's when we run into trouble. That's the other tree, man. Like, oh, well, I think this is not good or that's not good. Well, it doesn't matter what you think. If you're created by a creator, he defines everything, the rules of the game, right? Like just being here at all is a privilege, right? We came out of nothing, out of nowhere. Right, the enemy arrows flies, right. Sometimes when we least expect it, full armor of God, Ephesians, right. You're right. And that's the thing, is like people, like we have these like really tiny brains, right? But I love it when people think that, okay, well, I have it all figured out, and if it's not if it doesn't make sense to me, then it can't be right. I respect anyone's beliefs, right? Now, check this out, Raven. This is I'd like to get to that, right? Now, if you come to me and say, hey, look, I know that God is real, I know the truth, right? But I'm going to choose to go the other way, right? Well, then so be it, man. That's your God-given free will. I'm not bigger than that, right? I'm not more important than that, right? So there's nothing I could do about that. There's nothing I could do really about anything, right? Now, the thing that concerns me about that is if you are my friend, right, and you're like, you have this path in your life that leads to salvation, right? And then you change your mind real fast, right? It's shocking to me, It almost feels like I would need closure for that, Feels like a loss. And so yeah, fair enough. You're right. He wants to Even if he wants to go do evil, what can I do about it, Um, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. I doubt. Well, I know God knows it all, but I certainly don't. I mean, it took me, all my life and a hard search the last 5 years just to find out how to get saved, right? Like, I don't know anything. I just know I want to make God happy. And, salvation is written in the Bible so many times you can't get it wrong. It's that when people want to make it an argument about extremes, right? Like, oh, you can't just get saved and just go do whatever you want. I mean, does that type of person really exist? I mean, the type of person that knows that God is real and confesses him as the Lord of his life and then goes and does whatever he wants with two middle fingers out. Like, see, I don't even know if that person even exists. I think we're all just human beings, equally imperfect, right? And yeah, I don't respect people who do evil. You're right on that. But what can I do if someone wants to do that? Hey, Faith, how you doing? It means a lot to me that you say hi. Yeah, yeah, go be with your husband. Tell him I said hi. Well, here's the thing, Raven, right? Like, since we could show where all gods came from, right? Like from the Tower of Babel, right? And since we could like pinpoint basically who God is just based on the evil in this world being against it, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious that Jesus is our salvation, right? I mean, okay, you might want to look at it as a trinity and then respect the Father more, I guess, and that's fine, right? Because we don't really know. It's a confusing topic, but I like to think of them all as the same person, right? That's right. That's right. And I think it's pretty obvious to say that, right? To say Jesus came for sinners. I think we're like just saying that there's a God isn't enough anymore. And it's not because of what I think of you. It's about what how far you can go in life. Like, and I'm not trying to, hey, look, if I thought it was like if I thought I was like 50% or 80% right, I wouldn't push it. I would just say, yeah, we all have our beliefs and I'm pretty sure about mine. But it's almost like to the point where it's obvious that Jesus is the Lord and he came for our salvation. I mean, he was like literally treated like a truther. We're getting treated the same way. Oh yeah, hey, I agree. I think this is what I think, Seth, is it in our hearts, right? Your heart and my heart, we want the same things. We all want love and we all want positive things around us. I think sometimes we're afraid to commit to something because we don't want to be wrong, right? But if you allow yourself to seek God honestly without putting your beliefs on it, without having a required outcome, then you'll see it. It'll just come true. And yes, now see, I used to think about that too, right? That was a big thing for me. It's like, what about all these Native Americans and all these tribes and all these different religions, right? Like some tribe out in the middle of nowhere, right? Well, that's where, reading Genesis and the Tower of Babel really helped me out, because when everyone was split off into, put on almost every continent with every different language, there was all these different names for God, right? But, they were probably worshiping Nimrod, and so it makes you look at it like, while the story of God reached all those places, right? People were in opposition to God at that time, right? And so God, right, chose Abraham, probably the weakest one at the time, right? And said, this is the guy I'm going to like win the world back through. And of course, that led to problems with, Abraham's seed feeling chosen, to the point where it was like, well, aren't we the number one people and everyone else is no good, or something like that, right? Well, I mean, they were chosen to serve the world, right? In order to be first, you must be last, right? And so, you know, Paul and the apostles had to spread all the word of God everywhere, right? The good news that Jesus came as the perfect lamb, right? The perfect sacrifice. And that's what you would think that God would do: end all animal suffering, end all our suffering, keep us from being, controlled by these churches infiltrated by the devil, right? And I mean, and that's, I'm thinking that if you're a flat earther, then you understand this, right? Is that if you type in flat earth, you're going to get all the shill channels, right? You have to dig to find a good flat earth channel. You have to dig, right? Now, if you type in, stuff about God, or sermons about Jesus, are we getting all the shills? Or does everybody have a, because I know now, right, that not everyone with a Bible in their hand has good intentions for me. And so it's very scary now, knowing just how much of the world is a lie, right? And just, you wonder if all these like divisions and fights are started over stuff that's manufactured, right? Because if we all read our Bibles, right, very carefully, we would know what's true and what's not true. Like, I have a pretty good idea of what's true and what's going to happen because I've read the story, right? And yeah, there are some things that are written in a way that you would have to know the language of what they're saying in order to get it. It's like a parable. It's kind of hidden in the word, you know. And so, when Jesus calls himself God, that's, he doesn't like say it outright. It's written in language that some people understand, some people don't, and maybe it's not meant for everybody. And maybe if you don't get it, then that's a good indication that you should be reading it more, right? And so, to me, there's a lot of things that are obvious in the Bible, right? That I talk to people that have been reading the Bible 30 years, and it's not obvious to them. And vice versa, where I have a worse understanding of it, right? But see, I'm not afraid to change, right? Like, if I come here a rapture person and you prove to me there's no rapture, then I'll leave here thinking there's no rapture. But I know that the majority of people that come here, whatever they think when they come here, they're going to think that when they leave, no matter what you show them. I can show you where it says clear as day, like if it says there will be a rapture where you will be ripped off the ground, right? If it said those exact words, there'd still be somebody denying it, right? And the problem is, right, is I can't say that there's one either, because I can't tell you that that's not at the end, right? After all the tribulation and everything, right? I see that's the thing, right? I could tell you that there's something happens where you get pulled in the air and you get changed into your spirit body, but I can't tell you when that is in the narrative, because I don't know if it's chronological. And so a lot of people look at that as, well, that's just the day of the Lord, the second coming, when God comes back. He only comes once, and then you change into your spirit body, right? Bada bing, bada boom, right? Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like Ray of Sunshine, I would say yes. Joel Osteen, right? Kenneth Copeland, right? That's like obvious ones, right? But I think that it's even deeper than that, Ray. Like, I know that it's hard to say, right? And I don't have any names or anything like that for you that I would say I know for sure. But sometimes I wonder about some of these like kind of big name guys, like, man, what they're saying doesn't feel like what I'm reading. Like it it's like they over intellectualize it to make it sound smarter or to make it sound more in depth when it's really simple points, right? That aren't that hard to like. It makes people intimidated to read the Bible. Religion is not the way. Jesus is the way. That's right, man. And I think a lot of people are not realizing that, right? That it's really much, much simpler than we think. You're right. Hey, Ray, you're right. But here's the thing, right? Like I've watched a lot of those pastors and learned a ton, right? Like, even like, what's the guy's name from Grace to You? He's a very smart man. I forget his name, but MacArthur, right? He's really good, right? And I've learned from him. I've learned from Dr. Kim, right? I've learned from a lot of these different ones, and they have different views, right? But I wouldn't say that they got it right 100%, right? Like, oh yeah, they are perfect. This is the way to think about it. Hey, what's up, Shannon? I'm glad you're here. Wow, that makes me feel happy. I saw you all come in a while back, so I saw you when you came in here. I just didn't say nothing at first. And Chris, of course. But yeah, it's yeah, I mean, you see these prosperity preachers, and I think what it is that's very surface level. Um, it's fake, right? Like it's people wanting God in their life to say they have God in their life, right? It's very for show, and the more shallow you are, the like you're not going to go for deep spiritual things if you're not that kind of person. No, Ray, I'm not saying that, right? It's nothing to defend, Ray. It's just that there's a lot, right, of preachers that I think, like, are they holding back the real truth of everything just like they do flat earth stuff? That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that these people are bad in any way, right? Because I've learned from every pastor I've ever heard from. No one's saying that. And I'm not like attacking anyone either, right? Or saying, hey, go watch this or go watch that. I'm just saying, like, there are some pastors that are smart that I don't think really have it all straight. And I don't think that that's an uncommon opinion, right? When the weak and the least of these join together in the same mind and same accord, we become more powerful than the entire enemy. That's right. And they know it. They know it, that when we start agreeing on things, that it's over for them. There's only so much they can do to us, man. There's only so much they can do to us, and they know it. But the problem is, right, is we can't be out there in the trenches, right, with a big ego about it, because it's not us that's conquering them, it's God. And we got to be humble, and we got to realize what that, because sometimes I'll do that. I'll stand on the edge, right? And I know then they can't do nothing to me, right? And I don't know that because I'm smart. I know that just instinctively from God letting me know that they can't do anything to me. Now, is that ego to stay on the edge and taunt them? knowing that they can't do it, because when I'm doing everything God wants me to do, they can't do anything to me that hurts me. They can't. He who is in us is greater than he who is in the world. You're right on that. Absolutely. There's they know it. They tremble when they hear the name of Jesus. They don't like to say it. Even when they pretend that, okay, they pretend they're religious, they'll call him something else. They know that name burns, you know? They know it. But this is my question, right? Why not just change and come to the winning side? What kind of pride do you have to not want to make it? Hey, Christina. Um, listen to an Orthodox Roman liturgy. Yeah, if you want me to listen to something like that, I'll listen to it. Sure. I mean, I don't mind watching things that people say that they believe or whatever. I'm open to that. Well, isn't Dean Odell like he's going to be running for governor or something like that, isn't he? Like it's a big shot, man. But I've watched a lot of Dean Odell stuff and I liked him, you know. I did. I liked him enough, right? And he was with that Robert I forget the kid's name, the guy that wrote Flat Earth Doctrine. But you know, when people start running for governor, right, then you got to wonder, like, well, who does this guy know, man? You know, I mean, that's legitimate questions, right, Ray? I mean, not that he's ever done anything bad to me or said anything bad to me. Hey, Bubba, how you doing, my brother? Check out Jim Stanley Truth Edition, very eye-opening. Yeah, okay, I will. Could you send me a link of that, Hannah? Because I don't know if I'll remember, and I do want to see that. And whoever wanted to send me that Romanian Orthodox, I'll give that a shot. I mean, is it in English? It would have to be in English. If it's subtitles, it'd be very hard for me. Yeah, Jim Staley, Truth or Tradition. I would love to see that. But see, I also don't mind like, like when we're talking about the feasts and all that. I mean, I don't mind doing that. You know, oh, it's in Romanian. Oh, well then, wow. Well, is there one that you might be able to find that could be in English? I'm sorry, Christine. I know you're brand new, and that's a lot to ask, but I have so much to do, and I'm kind of alone at this moment right now. I mean, I have help. There's good people helping me, but it's a lot of work. Bubba with your upside down head. That's one of my favorite emojis too, man, to put the upside down. I don't even know what it means, but I like it. You can email me, Christina, at Christiana, is it? Or Christiana? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Christiana. Um, email me at goodservant22 at gmail.com and we'll chat a little bit if you want. Oh, there you go, AJM with that. Come on, AJ, with the numbers, man. Thank you so much, Chris. That's amazing. Come on, AJ, with the numbers, man. Yeah, that definitely does make him out to be like in question, right? Where's Ray at? Is Ray still here? Is he mad at me? I hope you're still here, Ray. Zero mandates because our governor banned them all. Yeah, I mean, look, hey, I'm not against him. I'm not against him, Ray. No, Ray is awesome, but sometimes we sometimes we go back and forth on some stuff. I'm always afraid you're gonna leave. Like I don't ever want you to leave. But sometimes I think that if like I want to be more agreeable, right? I want to agree with you guys. Don't get me wrong. If any excuse to agree, I will do it. But sometimes I can't on some things, and I feel like that people will leave. Well, I have. Okay, so yes, I have been watching him. I would say that I watched him for like 3 months legitimately. And him and Nathan Roberts used to preach together or whatever. They were tight or whatever. And Nathan Roberts at the time was, one of like 5 big flat Earth people at that time. And so, yeah, I followed Dean Odell a little bit, but yeah, maybe you're just a little attached to him. It could be that too. Because I know people that are attached to a preacher where they believe everything he says, regardless of what is reality. And it's nothing wrong with that. I guess if you find someone you trust, I mean, I get how you got there. Well, Ray, come on, man. Look, I've only been um I've only been reading the Bible 5 years. I'm a baby in all this stuff, right? Now, I would say that I was a Christian for a lot longer than that, like a real positive attitude Jesus guy that loved Jesus, but I didn't read the Bible and get into studying or anything like that until. Oh, you know what he teaches? Yeah, flat Earth, and he doesn't teach the once saved always saved. He doesn't believe that, and I know that I don't think he believes in a rapture either. Yeah, I know Dean Odell. I mean, it's not like I don't know who he is, right? I mean, how could you not know who he is? So what's it? So is he the one that brought in the whole Sophia thing, or was that only from Zen Garcia? Because that really bothers me on that. I don't like the demiurge or any of that stuff. I don't. That to me, that's poison, man. How much have I read? Oh, shoot. The New Testament. I don't know. Probably at least every book at least 30 to 50 times in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, Proverbs is probably the book I read the most, maybe 100 times. But I went through the Old Testament like twice. So there are a lot of things in the Old Testament that I don't know, especially in the prophets, right? But I mean, New Testament stuff I know pretty good, and I mean I'm pretty good with all the Paul's epistles because sometimes on audio Bible you can listen to like 2 or 3 in a row. No, and I'm not saying he does, Ray. I just asked about that because you just said his gospel was different, but I didn't remember it being different. The only gospel I remember being different at that time with that group was Zen Garcia. Because the gospel's simple. Jesus came and died for our sins, right? I mean, that's the good news, right? That's what gospel is, good news. Oh yeah, that would be great. I would love to have him on. Is he the one that is the Bigfoot or something? He's Bigfoot something? Because I had another friend, Shepherd's Voice, went over and saw his stream and said that he did really well and that she would go back. If that's the same guy, I don't know. No, I didn't say you said that, Ray. I don't know what you're saying. What am I saying? Right there, you said the gospel right there. You said, "No, Stephen, I know what he teaches." And then you said the gospel was different. But yeah, Bigfoot Prepper. Yeah, I want to go see one of his streams. I think that that's going to be important. Is there a way we can do? But yeah, I would love to have you on, bud, if you want. That's kind of what I really want to do. Like more of that. But here's the thing, right? I don't mind doing like 50-50 subjects, right? But I want to preface everything before we start and get a good prayer in because this chat will be popping like popcorn, man. And then if people get over the top, then it's crazy, man. Then I got to figure out who, it takes me all day to figure that out. When in reality, if we can be holding on to that last shaky sheep that barely makes it, right? That's going to be the blessing, right? That's going to be the reward for doing all this. Is if we can get somebody out there like us that is a truther that wakes up, right, and is out there knowing the truth that we've been lied to, and is open to knowing God. And if they find us, I want them to hear us speaking of God highly, right, and giving him the credit he deserves for what he did for us, and knowing that there's a better place, and this is why we can have hope in a world like we're in, where this is probably the last generation of full body autonomy, where we're in charge of what we do with our own body and mind. They want to plug us into a computer and shoot us up full of stuff. And I mean, there was a government that did that before. There's nothing new under the sun. So you figure it out, you know? This is not some new thing that, this is a new medicine. It's going to help us. It's going to be different than the last time. No, it's the same as the last time. This is going to be destructive, and it's going to make everybody weaker and sick. And they're going to plug us into that metaverse or whatever it is. And good luck. Good luck at that point. I mean, what can you, if people aren't strong enough to stay out of that, then what do you do? But I would love to be here for that last sheep that doesn't want to go through that. And if they could find Jesus through here, or who knows, maybe they come here and they want to seek Jesus and they go to Derek Prince and Dean Odell, and then and then they find out all the answers they need to know, right? Well, I've seen some of Derek Prince, right? I like that. I mean, he's an older guy, right? Older style, older stuff. I like that kind of preaching, but not everybody likes that kind of preaching. It's more of a lecture, right? I mean, I like it. I can't say that that's what everybody wants, right? And I've seen Dean Odell. He's like a regular pastor to me, just a regular guy. But see, like there are things, right? Like being taught. Okay, so let's say there's no once saved, always saved. Let's say that salvation is not a gift, right? You have to earn your salvation by not sinning and repenting, right? Well, what is it, right, that you do on a daily basis that's different than I do on a daily basis, right? In just our daily activity. I mean, in everything I do, I try to make God happy. I pray about everything, and when I feel like I've done something wrong, I pray about it and ask forgiveness, even for little things, right? Now, does that mean that I'm doing anything extra for salvation? Because I feel like it. I feel like I've already got it. But I mean, in our daily lives, are we doing the same thing? I mean, am I promoting a? This is what I want to promote, right? I've accepted Jesus for salvation, right? And because of that, because I confessed him as the Lord of my life, I want to make him happy with everything. I want to make the Father and Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the whole shebang, right? I want to make them happy with me. The thought of them being disappointed in me is far worse to me than hell. Do you know how bad I would feel to know that I've intentionally did something wrong to God? It would break my heart. It would. I don't even think I would have a heart left to fight. You know, I don't think I'd have a heart left if I thought I was intentionally making God unhappy. And so, yeah, if you want to add that to it, then add that to it. But it doesn't say that in the book. That's the whole problem, you know? But it doesn't mean that I don't think you shouldn't have to do it. You do have to do it. It's in the book. You got to do it. Everything God says to do it. No, I'm not saying like, okay, all the laws, all the Jewish laws, right? I mean, you would never know what to do or how to act, right? But I'm saying like in general, right? Love your neighbor with as you would love yourself, and love God with everything in your power. And if you're not that type of person, then I question, did you take the gift of salvation, right? I mean, that's between you and God, right? You tried those VR goggles. What were they like? Well, they want to make it to where you wear those goggles all the time, or they implant it in your head in an interface, right? And that you see augmented reality and reality together. And so they're really going to build images of you. That's how you're going to live. Well, they want to keep you kind of in a, I mean, it's kind of like Matrix, to be honest. Like, I hate to say it like that, but they want to keep you kind of like skinny and weak and in a room somewhere, getting your basic $1,000 a month income or whatever. It's horrible, and it's perverted. And they say that like like it opens you up for demons, right? Because they can exist in that medium, right? Like they don't need a body to exist in there. Like, yeah, out here with us, they would need a body. They would need to be in a body somewhere. But in that thing, I think they can just, because demons come through the. I mean, they got to come through the phones and the TVs and all that, right? Yeah, Hannah. Well, Hannah's smarter than that. I don't think she'll ever do that. She's probably one of the most spiritually mature people I know. Yeah, meta means death, doesn't it? Right? Like, oh man, it's just it's horrific, you know? Oh, they do need bodies and minds. Oh my God. So like when you go into this metaverse, right, they can just get in you or whatever. Like, I mean, this is just man, wow, this is just horrific. Well, guys, this is the longest that I could hold an audience, really. And so thank you so much for coming. I will have another show at 5 o'clock. She's not down for the metaverse, she says. And yeah, if any of you ever want to come on, like I'll drop a link for you, you know, like just let me know, and then I can have you on the show or whatever. I think that I'm not sure what I have going on tonight. I don't know who's coming on tonight. Maybe nobody, and maybe it's open. I don't know. But yeah, I want to make that a regular thing to just be able to have people on. But anyway, guys, praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. I mean, that's everything, right? And praise Jesus. Don't listen to me. I don't know. No, 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 no. Ray. I absolutely listen to you. And I absolutely know that you know what you're talking about. And we do agree on a lot of stuff. It's just that you go like always one step different than like one step more, which is not a bad thing to always do more, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You you're one of my very favorite people ever of all time. So if you didn't come anymore, it would affect me. You know what I mean? So I need you to be here. Now you have to come tonight at 5 o'clock because if I don't see you, I'm gonna freak out. All right. Praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace, and all glory to God. He deserves it. And pray for the children. I'll see you guys at 5 p.m. California time. God bless you.